hoping for some fantastically interesting names. Now, can I just ask if there's anybody who you can hear yourself, if you could mute yourself for this, that'd be great. The sound is a bit unstable. Who's that? Hello from Arizona, Lower Cumberworth. Welcome. Now, let's see if I can bring this microphone a little bit closer. Maybe that will help. Testing, testing. Okay, here we are at 7 p.m. Welcome, everybody. There may be a couple more people coming to this session, so that's okay. They can just join us wherever they arrive. But for us, in the meantime, yeah, it's February. It's quite cold and wet here in Dublin, so I don't know what it's like where you are. But if you need anything to make sure that you're warm this evening, sitting still for half an hour, your body temperature can drop. So you might need a blanket or a throw or something to keep yourself warm. Cold and grey. Yeah, that sort of evening. If you're going to be sitting for this practice, I know I see a lot of familiar faces, but there might be some people who this is their first time. Your posture can be a challenge for your practice. So it's always good to help yourself by getting your posture as supported as possible. So you might need a couple of cushions. I have this pillow. I'm going to put that, fold it and put it under my arms. And that just supports my arms and takes the weight off my shoulders. So that might be something that you might find helpful. And if you're sitting and sometimes your back gets a bit sore, you can either tuck your bum right back into the corner of the chair so that the backrest supports your spine, or you can put a pillow behind your back. You can just find the right spot. This is a bit of a Goldilocks thing. When you've got your pillow in exactly the right spot, your body, your spine will just kind of go, ah. So it's worth spending a bit of time with your posture, getting it as comfortable as possible so that then you can forget about it pretty much. Anything else? Yeah, I'd encourage you, if you're sitting, to sit with your legs hip width apart. Just let go of your legs. We have a tendency, particularly women, to sit with our knees tightly together. Pretend you're playing the cello, except no cello. Just let your legs be comfortably apart and find where it's comfortable for you to have your hands, palms upright on your thighs or resting under your belly. And you can, at any point, if you find your posture has become uncomfortable, you can adjust it. If your shoulders get sore, you can roll your shoulders, have a stretch. Or indeed, if you're sitting or lying down, you can turn onto your side or you can stand up and you can introduce a little bit of mindful movement into the practice. So yeah, at all points in this practice, the invitation is to look after yourself, to pay attention to what your body is telling you. And if you need to take a drink of water, if you need to go and get something, if you need to go to the toilet, yeah, do that. And then just come back and start again. Be kind to yourself in this. Really treat your next 30 minutes as a little gift to yourself, a little present, a present of the present. All right, so I'm just going to take a sip of water before we begin. And my invitation as well to anybody who's wearing glasses, maybe pop your glasses off and place them somewhere to the side. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes so you won't really need your glasses for the next little while. And then just give yourself a few breaths to allow yourself to arrive, whatever sort of day you've had, however you've been feeling, if you've had a busy day, or if you're not long after waking up, yeah, just give yourself a little while to be here. Feel your feet on the floor, your sitting bones connecting with the chair or the cushions underneath you. Allow yourself to take a nice slow breath in and maybe breathe out through your mouth. Notice that little pause before the next in breath. You don't have to force that. Often there's just a natural pause between the out breath and the next in breath. You might notice that your mind is busy or that there's some discomfort somewhere in your body. There might be some little adjustment you need to make to your posture. Yeah, so just noticing those little snags of your attention. And if there's something that you want to adjust, yeah, do that. Or if you want to just observe those thoughts for a while, you can do that too. I'm going to read you, before we really get into it, uh, a verse from Seeing Things by Seamus Heaney. Inishbofin on a Sunday morning, sunlight, turf smoke, seagulls, boat slip, diesel. One by one, we were handed down into a boat that dipped and shilly-shallied, scarsomely every time. We sat tight on short cross benches in nervous twos and threes, obediently, newly close, nobody speaking except the boatmen as the gunwales sank and seemed they might ship water at any minute. The sea was very calm, but even so, when the engine kicked and our ferryman swayed for balance, reaching for the tiller, I panicked at the shiftiness and heft of the craft itself. What guaranteed us that quick response and buoyancy and swim kept me in agony. All the time as we went sailing evenly across the deep, still, seeable down into water. It was as if I looked from another boat, sailing from air, far up, and could see how riskily we fared into the morning, and loved in vain our bare, bowed, numbered heads. I wonder if you could picture some of those images in your mind's eye or hear the sounds. Were you there in that verse? Isn't the mind an amazing thing? But we're going to get let go of those words and we're just going to come into this moment now, inhabit this body, whichever body on whatever surface. Just notice what's happening for us in this moment. We're just training ourselves to be here, not to have the mind wander off or to become distracted or to leap into the future or to drift back into the past, anchored there with some conversation or event. But to notice if that happens and to just, in that moment, remember why we're here, to explore this moment, this new moment, this new breath, whatever sounds are here for us, external or internal. And you can't get it wrong. So let go of an idea of getting this right or doing it perfectly. It is what it is. So in this moment, allow yourself to scan your experience and notice, is there any tightness in those places in your body where you normally hold tension or experience discomfort? Where are those usual places? Your jaw, your forehead, your tongue, your shoulders. Maybe they stay close up towards your ears. Maybe your hands are often clenched or clasping each other. Maybe you're holding in your tummy, pulling it in, or the buttocks are tightly clenched. Maybe there's a part of the body where there's always pain and you're always holding it, trying to protect it. And just allow yourself a few more moments to notice if there's one or more points like that in your experience at the moment. And just turn towards them wherever they might be. Breathe into them and see if it's possible to soften around that. That might seem like a peculiar invitation to soften around that. What's more practical? Maybe you can raise your eyebrows up as high as you can and then just let them go. Or you can yawn, allowing your mouth to stretch open as widely as is comfortable, or stick out your tongue. Or you can scrunch up your face like children do when they're about to have a massive tantrum. And then just let the face, the head be soft. Let the jaws remain a little apart and the tongue rest on the floor of your mouth. Maybe you can bring your shoulders up as high as they'll go. You can even push your hands down onto your thighs. Push the shoulders up and then just let them drop, gently drop. Notice where they are, and if they start to creep back up again out of habit, just repeating that. And then keep letting them fall again and again as often as you need to. And if you tend to sit very rigidly, spine upright, if that's a lot of effort, see if you can do this with minimal effort. Lean back into the cushions or the backrest, the chair support. Surrender to gravity. I noticed I was still pulling in my gut there, so just letting the gut go. Nobody's looking. You can notice the breath causing the belly to swell and subside, to rise and fall on the in and the out breath. You might even, if your hands are resting on your belly, feel your hands and your forearms being lifted and gently put down. as the breath causes that movement. And let all of this be interesting. None of it is good or bad, right or wrong. Just oh, look at that. Maybe it's not something that we've noticed before. When we can choose to be interested in all of this, not to judge it, but to be interested. Why are my hands still clenched? Why are they clasping each other? I don't remember deciding to do that. Can I just let go of any unnecessary effort and just let my body breathe itself naturally? We can notice the breath flowing in and out. You might be breathing in through your nose. You might be breathing in and out through your mouth. Just noticing. What does that feel like? If you've recently had a cold, you might notice a little bit of congestion. Might be noisier than usual. Maybe you need to blow your nose. Yeah, by all means do that. Might need to cough, clear your throat, or have a drink, or get a lozenge. Yeah, by all means, do any of those things if you need to. And if you don't like paying attention to your breath, if that triggers a little bit of anxiety, then instead choose to pay attention to the sounds around you. Maybe you can hear a television playing in another room in the house or the building. Maybe there's the sound of traffic driving by or rain against the window. Maybe there's a pet nearby, moving or drinking, purring, breathing, giving the occasional contented hoof. Yeah. Maybe there's a clock ticking. Or maybe you can hear your thoughts, just a steady murmur, like some narrator of your experience. Or might be for you, there's an earworm playing in the back of your mind. Yeah, just notice that. Being curious, interested in whatever's happening for you now. We're not really trying to change what's happening. We're just being present with what's happening. There's an opportunity to notice. Are we reacting to anything in our experience? Are we pushing anything away? A pain or a discomfort? Or are we really liking something, finding something pleasant, going off on a pleasant daydream? Just, yeah, notice if either of those things are happening. If the mind has wandered somewhere. And when you notice that, gently invite the mind to come back to this moment, to the here, to the now, to this breath, to these sounds. And just check, has your posture out of habit gone back to some other familiar pose? Have the shoulders climbed a little bit or the jaws tightened? Or is there some little gnawing discomfort? Maybe the pressure through your buttocks or your sacrum is uncomfortable. Yeah. You're welcome to move, to shift a little bit, to place a pillow under your knees if you're lying down or between your knees, or to turn onto your side. By doing that, you're choosing to respond to your body, choosing to respond with compassion and kindness, to take care of yourself a little bit. And just notice if there's any part of your mind that's judging this experience you're having. That's finding this boring, or saying I'm not doing this properly, or oh, I can't sit still, this is too much. And turn towards that inner voice. See if you can turn towards it the same way you would towards a child that says, I can't do this. This is too hard. See if you can turn towards it as you would towards a friend and say, you can do this. Maybe placing your hand on your heart, breathing in, just noticing any impatience or discomfort, any irritation or anger, grief or pain. Recognizing perhaps in this moment this suffering. Turn towards that suffering, whatever form it arrives, with kindness. If there's a tickle that makes you want to cough, don't try and suppress that or fight it. Allow it to be there, allow it to come out of you. And then just starting again, feeling the feet on the floor or the heels against the mattress. Noticing the heavy weight of the body against the surface supporting it. And even though we're sitting or lying still in this moment, noticing the body moving with the breath or the echoes of the breath. Where is that for you? Is that in your back, under your shoulder blades, at your elbows, the insides of your forearms, the insides of your upper arms or your armpits, the clothes around your body moving as your body breathes itself? Maybe when you swallow, you can feel that movement inside the column of your neck. Maybe you can feel the hot, moist sensations around the tongue, the palate, the cheeks and the gums, or the cool air flowing through the nose on the way in. Or the touch of the air against the upper lips or the chin as you breathe out. Perhaps your eyes are watering and you can feel the cool trail of a tear flowing down your cheek. Here we are in this rich moment full of sensation. Can we just observe that without judgment, like the poet watching himself in the boat from afar, setting out into the rest of the day? Perhaps you can feel your body rocking with your breath or your heartbeat. Maybe you've slept for the last little while. Maybe you've been distracted by thoughts or sensations. Perhaps there have just been glimpses of being present. That's all okay. Perhaps we can bring this curiosity to whatever we're doing, when we're eating, when we're walking, when we're showering or going to bed. Perhaps we can be interested and pay attention to our senses, even when we're not meditating. We're going to begin to bring this practice to a close now. Keep your eyes closed for a little while longer and just gently, gently begin to move your fingers and your toes. Maybe moving your hands in circles, first in one direction, then in the other. Rolling your shoulders, having a stretch. I was going to read you one last poem called Envoy. They are not long, the weeping and the laughter, love, desire, and hate. I think they have no portion in us after we pass the gate. They are not long, the days of wine and roses. Out of a misty dream, our path emerges for a while and then closes within a dream. And knowing that all these moments pass so swiftly, perhaps we can train ourselves to be here for them. A little bit of practice every day. Thank you very much, everybody, for practicing together, for being here in this community, and yeah, sharing this space. It's been a pleasure to be with you on this Tuesday evening in February. Take good care of yourselves, and maybe see you next Tuesday evening, same time, same place. Bye.